Your scattered interests, every single one of them, are about to pay off. You've been told for years that your inability to pick a lane is a weakness, that niching down is the only path to wealth, that being a jack of all trades is a recipe for being a master of none. But the data for 2025 shows you're on the right side of history. Your weakness is becoming the ultimate edge. And the specialists who mocked you, they're about to find out. And if you're the kind of person who gets bored easily and loves learning new things, you just inherited the economy. You've felt the pressure to specialize your entire life. Parents, teachers, career gurus, they all said the same thing. Focus. Pick one thing. Stop jumping around. And honestly, it made sense at the time. You felt guilty for wanting to learn coding and psychology and design. You felt like you were falling behind your peers who picked one path and sprinted. But here's the pivot point nobody told you about. While they were optimizing for a world that stays the same, you were inadvertently building the exact engine needed for a world that breaks every 3 years. Because when the environment changes, the specialist becomes a dinosaur. But the generalist? The generalist becomes a predator. And here's exactly why that's happening right now. It comes down to a concept called the complexity premium. When a stable world, efficiency is king. If you make widgets, the person who makes widgets 1% faster wins. That was the 20th century. But we don't live in a stable world anymore. We live in a world of high-velocity chaos. AI tools update weekly. Entire industries dissolve overnight. In this environment, efficiency doesn't matter. Adaptability does. Think about what that means for you. If you spend 10 years mastering one incredibly specific software, and that software gets automated tomorrow, your value drops to zero. That is the fragility of the specialist. They're betting everything on stability. They are betting everything that the future will look exactly like the past. You know that's a bad bet. But the generalist isn't just surviving the chaos, they are feeding on it. This is what researchers call range. It's the ability to take an idea from physics and apply it to marketing, to take a principle from biology and use it to write code. While the specialist is stuck inside their silo, looking for answers in the same old textbook, you are cross-pollinating solutions from everywhere, and the market is starting to pay a massive premium for that connection. The head start trap that destroys careers. Here's the most counterintuitive data point in modern career science. Economists tracked thousands of people over their entire careers. They compared the early specialists, the kids who picked a major, stuck to it, and got jobs immediately, against the late bloomers who sampled different fields. At age 20, the specialists were winning. They had higher incomes. They had better job titles. It looked like the advice was right. But then something incredible happened around year 10. The lines crossed. The generalists didn't just catch up, they rocketed past. And they stayed ahead for the rest of their careers. Why? Because of something called match quality. The generalist had spent time figuring out exactly where their unique weirdness fit into the economy. They didn't just pick a job, they constructed a career that leveraged their specific combination of skills. The specialists were stuck in a local maximum, doing well at a job they tolerated. The generalists found a global maximum, crushing a career they were built for. That feeling you have of being behind? It's not lag, it's leverage building up potential energy. Now let's talk about the specific mechanism that makes generalists rich in 2025. I call this the transfer learning protocol. This is where your scattered brain becomes a weapon. In machine learning, transfer learning is when a model takes knowledge from one task and applies it to a completely different one. Humans do this too, but only if they have a wide database to draw from. Most innovation isn't inventing something new. It's just connecting two things that haven't met yet. Steve Jobs connected calligraphy with technology. Elon Musk connected software design with automotive manufacturing. These weren't deep specialists in one narrow field. They were, quote, expert generalists who saw the space between silos. And here's the thing. AI is the ultimate specialist. It can write code better than you. It can diagnose diseases better than you. It can calculate structural loads better than you. If your entire value proposition is, I am a dictionary of facts in one narrow domain, you are competing directly against a machine that has read the entire internet. You will lose that fight. But do you know what AI is terrible at? Context. It's bad at understanding how a supply chain disruption in China affects the emotional tone of a marketing campaign in Chicago. That requires broad, messy, cross-domain understanding. That requires a generalist. The more powerful AI becomes at narrow tasks, the more valuable you become at connecting those tasks. You are not the generator anymore. You are the conductor. And the conductor needs to know a little bit about every instrument to make the symphony work. Why T-shaped is actually dangerous advice. You've probably heard you should be a T-shaped person. Deep in one thing, broad in many. It sounds good. It's definitely better than being an I-shaped specialist. But in 2025, even the T-shape is a trap. Because that one deep vertical bar, that's a single point of failure. If that one deep skill gets automated or disrupted, your T collapses into a dash. The smart money is moving to a comb-shaped model. Use multiple smaller spikes of competence. You aren't top 1% in the world at writing. You aren't top 1% at finance. You aren't top 1% at public speaking. But if you are in the top 25% of all three, you are essentially the only person in the world who can do what you do. This is called talent stacking. The math of the comb shape is unbeatable, because while it is incredibly hard to become the best in the world at one thing, it is surprisingly easy to become pretty good at three things. And the intersection of pretty good is where your monopoly gets built. Your scattered interests aren't a bug, they are the spikes of your comb. Every random hobby you picked up, every strange book you read, every waste of time side project, those are the unique coordinates of your value. So what does this actually look like for you tomorrow? It means you stop apologizing for your curiosity. It means you stop trying to force yourself into a box that was built for a factory worker in 1950. Instead of niching down, you need to niche out. Find the intersection. If you love fitness and you love video games, don't pick one. Gamify fitness. If you love cooking and chemistry, don't pick one. Invent molecular gastronomy. The market rewards the unique, not the compliant. And uniqueness comes from synthesis. It comes from mashing things together that don't belong. Specialization is for insects. It's for cogs. It's for reliable components in a predictable machine. But you are building a life in an unpredictable world. You need redundancy. You need optionality. You need the ability to pivot without breaking. When the world zigs, the specialist is locked into a zag. But the generalist? The generalist just shifts their weight and keeps riding. Here is the brutal truth about the next decade. The safest path is no longer the narrow one. The safe path is the broad one. Security doesn't come from being indispensable at one specific task. It comes from being adaptable to any task. Your curiosity is not a distraction. It is your compass. It is pulling you toward the skills you need to build your own personal monopoly. So let the specialists fight over the scraps of the old economy. Let them compete to be the slightly faster cog. You are playing a different game entirely. You are playing the game of infinite leverage. And in that game, the generalist doesn't just survive. The generalist wins. Every single time. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Share your thoughts below. Are you a specialist or a generalist?